Hi, this is a short video to demonstrate how to use DIALux to complete a simulation of the lumen method for interior lighting design. On the left, you can see a table of values corresponding to a room in terms of the room dimensions, space to height ratio, room usage and the required maintained illuminance, working plane, reflectances, maintenance factor, required lumen output per luminaire, number of lamps, and the mounting height of that luminaire. So with all this information, you can complete a lumen method calculation within DIALux. This will be to support any handwritten calculations completed. So I have DIALux open on my own computer at this point, and for this, we're going to use simple indoor planning. Once this opens up, you can see at the interface it's asking you for information about the room. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to call the room maintenance room because that's what it's asked inside the provided information. I can see that updates on the drawing. The dimensions of the room are also given. It's 30 by 25 by 6 high, so we can update that too. 30 by 25 by 6 high. The height of the working plane is provided. That's 0.9 meters according to the information here. And we can also give it the maintenance factor. The standard in DIALux is 0.8, and that's the same as what's in this information here. So we don't actually have to change that from the standard. Now, we can also set the reflectance values of the materials at this point. We see here it asks for ceilings, walls, and floors 70, 50, 20. That actually aligns with what's already provided in this question, so we don't have to change that here. But if you did, that's where you can do it. So at this point, we have our room created. This is the plan view, and a three-dimensional view shows our room here. So at this point, we can use DIALux to import, we can use DIALux and we can import an appropriate luminaire that can be used for this design. The additional information that's given about the luminaire is that there is one lamp per luminaire and the lumen output is 3,500 lumens. So we can use the likes of Lume Search to find an indoor luminaire. See it as it's been hung below the ceiling, it'll have to be a pendant. And the distribution is your choice. It depends on your own design, but I'm going to use something along the lines of this. I'm also going to use an LED fitting. I'm going to set this to 1 because it's the number of lamps per luminaire. And then because we've been told what the rate or the lumen output of the site should be, we can set our search criteria to that. So I'm going to set it between 3,000 and 4,000 to find something suitable. And then Lume Search will try to find an appropriate luminaire. Unfortunately, that first search didn't return anything, so we'll expand the search out. We might remove LED from the search. Still no appropriate luminaires. So we can expand out the radius of this search. Let's bring it down to 2,500. Again, this is just an example to demonstrate how to do this process. You might not be able to find an exact match, but we can always use um, this to try and find the closest. So for the purpose of this example, I'm just going to pick the first luminaire that comes up here. It happens to be an LED as well, so we can send this straight into DIALux for our lumen method calculation. So I click send to DIALux, and you'll see it appears inside here. Now, one thing I've noticed about this is this is specifically used for emergency lighting situations. So I'm going to see if there's an alternative before I go any further on this and try to exclude that from our search. Let's try something like this. Send this into DIALux. We can see here that we now have a light imported, 3000 lumens, and that's the only version available. So with their light imported, all we can do at this point is use automatic arrangements for space. This will use the lumen method to work out how many luminaires we actually need to have in the room. Once we select that, we can see here that it's currently saying 168 luminaires. So that might feel excessive, and there's a number of reasons for that. The first is these luminaires are mounted directly on the ceiling, as we can see. When in the question, we're told they're actually mounted 2 meters beneath the ceiling. So for that reason, if we go back, select the lights, go down to position, and mount them at the height that's required for this problem. So that's a 6 meter ceiling coming down 2 meters means they have to mount it at 4 meters. And we can see now that updates on our drawing. So if we recalculate, or I should say, if we go down to estimate calculator and apply again, it doesn't decrease it a whole lot, down from 168 to 156. But the other thing we have to take into account here is that the required or maintained illuminance value is 250. And the default that DIALux uses is 500. This is underneath estimate calculator. So if we reduce that to 250 and apply again, we can see that the room, or the amount of lights required, reduces again, and this time it's down to 80 luminaires. So that's how you complete your lumen method calculation in DIALux, and you can use this then to compare against any handwritten calculations.